Hello, beautiful pro people. I am Nina Bell, and I'm your moderator for this session. I hope you're ready for a good afternoon session of learning. I'd like to thank our gold sponsor, Influ2, who is presenting this session. We really appreciate their support of B2B Forum Online. In addition to this presentation, they have all kinds of materials to check out in their booth, in the Resource Center, so be sure to stop by their booth and say hello. So let's meet our presenters and dive right in. Please welcome Dmitri, Lisitski, and Keith Schrodt, who are presenting why a person-based advertising strategy is essential for marketers with difficult-to-reach audiences, sponsored by Influ2. Dmitri Lisitski is co-founder and CEO of Influ2, the first person-based marketing platform for B2B companies. A serial entrepreneur with 20 years experience in online marketing and advertising, he has successfully launched, managed, and advanced multiple IT-powered companies in the US and EU markets, including Bonus Tech, which was sold to Global Logic, and Thick Buttons. Prior to Influ2, Dmitri was global head of delivery and services at Get. Keith Schrodt is Director of Marketing for Disco, leading the marketing direction for Disco's products and solutions. Keith brings over 20 years of industry experience and subject matter expertise and is a frequent guest lecturer on electronic discovery and evidence best practices at industry events and conferences. Before joining Disco, Keith held marketing management roles at Thomson Reuters, Access Data, and Wolters Kluwer. Thank you, Dmitri and Keith, for being here with us today.
Thank you, Nina.
Thank you for hearing us.
All right, let's get going with the presentation.
Okay, welcome everybody to our session called Why Person-Based Advertising Strategy is Essential for Marketers with Difficult to Reach Audiences. And my name is Dmitri Lisitski, I'm CEO of Influ2. And I'm here with Keith Schrodt, who is Vice President of Marketing at Disco. Hey, Keith.
Hi.
So before we dive into our topic, let me briefly tell about our company. So Influ2 was founded in 2017. We have raised 3.4 million, which turned to be the largest round in ABM space. And we are growing fairly quickly. It's like we're growing like doubling every 6 months. And most of our clients are based in the US, and most of our clients are high-tech companies. Most of them are enterprise companies as well. So speaking about why we built our product and what was the mindset about it, we built Influ2 to help marketers help salespeople. And there are 3 elements how we think it works. First, they have to share their audience and work together, targeting the same people. We believe that marketing content should be defined by sales stage of the funnel and sales context. And third, we believe that every marketing engagement is super important sales signal that we need to leverage. And speaking about the topic of our today's conversation, we really believe that marketing can only help salespeople when they speak to the right audience. And sometimes it can be a very niche, small audience. And we built Influ2 with an idea that when you execute the account-based marketing programs, it's not enough to target just somebody in the account level. You want to go after a specific decision maker, specific buying team inside every account. And that's exactly how Influ2 works. So we basically target people based on their names, and you can go as niche as needed by targeting specific individuals. So that Influ2 can provide, like air cover for any sales activity, starting from top of the funnel opportunities where you can build awareness, targeting specific individuals, speaking about demand gen programs, value prop stage where sales development people can have air cover for their day-to-day activities, up to sales and expansion opportunities. So basically, our idea is that you can actually leverage marketing at every stage of sales funnel. So with that's kind of brief idea. I'm excited to welcome Keith to share his experience and tell us how exactly they used Influ2 in their situation.
Cool. Thank you, Dmitri. I'm excited to talk to the audience today about our relationship. It's been since September that we engaged with Influ2, and we've had some really good impact so far in the couple months that we've been working with Influ2. So before I get into that, I'll just give you a little background on Disco. We were founded in 2012. We're a legal technology company. We provide technology and services to law firms and corporate legal departments. We've raised about 235 million to date. It puts our company valued at about 785 million on the last round that we raised. We're seeing a tremendous growth, about 100% growth year over year. We're headquartered in Austin, Texas, with an international office in London. About 320 employees. We're hiring very aggressively, so we should have close to about 370 employees within the next 6 months. And we have about 450 global clients, 75 of the top AmLaw 100. And then as you can kind of see by top clients, we have some very large global corporations and some government agencies as well. Recently, we were top rated on Trust Radius, and then we won the G2 Winter Leader Badge, moving in from 2020 to spring of 2021. So some of the challenges that we faced as an organization is, number one, we're extremely hyper-growth technology company. What I mean by that is our growth is just so phenomenal, and sometimes it just feels like you're riding a wave that you just can't basically get off of, which is a good thing. So there's a lot of people that probably listen to this are kind of going through the same growth that we are, and I know Influ2 is definitely going through that growth as well. With that comes a lot of different challenges. Just every day that I wake up, there's just different challenges that we're facing from a marketing perspective, and then definitely from a company perspective. Some of the biggest challenges that I had that I've been dealing with actually for the last year really is with our marketing technology stack and then our reporting challenges. And so that's one of the things that when Influ2 started reaching out to me, and so I'm showing examples of some of the ads that Influ2 had been targeting me with. And so I started noticing these ads that were coming up in Instagram and Facebook and some of my social media platform, and they were just constantly there. And so with our marketing challenges and reporting challenges, I just kind of started keeping an eye on Influ2 because I just started really noticing the ads, how they were communicating with me, the messages that they were using. And so we were struggling as a marketing department because we were using a lot of different techniques. We were using like Facebook ads, we were using Google ads, we were using different types of technology. They weren't really integrated, and we were having a lot of problems with our integrations at the time. Is that, you know, we're using Pardot, we're using Salesforce, we're using a lot of different types of technologies, and things just weren't really integrated very well, which really affected our reporting. So I was dealing with those problems, throughout 2020. Hard to reach prospects and clients. I think every marketer says that they have hard to reach prospects and clients. I basically deal with personas, lawyers. Very hard to reach audience. Number one, because most attorneys are billing by the hour. Some attorneys actually bill by 15-minute increments. So when you're charging your clients, $100, $250, $300, $1,000 an hour, sometimes $2,000 an hour, every minute of your day counts. And so they don't really spend a lot of time paying attention to traditional methods that we use for marketing. So we can send them emails. We had a pretty robust SDR team, so an inside sales team that was calling, reaching out, trying to set demos and that kind of stuff. So we were doing a lot of the traditional stuff that everybody in the audience is doing. But what happened was, with our particular audience, when COVID happened, and this was kind of around March of 2020, everybody started dealing with COVID, and they started moving from their traditional offices to home officing. So our inside sales team had the contact numbers traditionally for offices. And so as soon as everybody started moving to home offices, we didn't have their cell phones. And so a lot of challenges basically came about with our inside sales team being able to call and do outreach to our personas. And that's, again, kind of about the time that the Influ2 started showing up on my Instagram feed and my social media feed. And I'm extremely hard to get, on the phone, email, and that as well. And I was like saying, if they can reach me on my time, since my time is so valuable as well, if they're reaching me when I'm taking a lunch break or I'm taking an evening break and I'm seeing these ads and I'm recognizing them, the messaging resonates with me. And I was even taking ads, screen capturing them and sending them over to my CMO at the time and say, hey, these guys are getting my attention. If they can do that to me, then what can, I think we should probably look into this technology and the solution and see if that we can, reach our personas, our audience that we're trying to get in front of. The other challenge that we had is that we were really a big event-driven marketing organization. And so since attorneys are so difficult to get a hold of, we had to go where they were. And so there's a lot of big conferences that attorneys attend. There's also things called CLEs that we go to and we speak at. So they're local and regional type CLEs. We were going to the firms, doing educational sessions with them, lunch and learns, that kind of stuff. So as soon as COVID happened, then all that dried up. We tried to move our event program virtual. Virtual has a lot of different challenges, which we're on a virtual conference right now. So everybody probably on this call understands the challenges with virtual. But the audience basically comes in and comes out of virtual conferences. So if there's a session that they want to, basically interact with, you log in, you watch the session. And as soon as the session is over, then typically you're going to go do something else and typically log back in for another session. So our audience participation was not as intense as it was when we were doing personal events and in-person events with virtual. So that caused a lot of problems with our outreach, and definitely email was affected as well, because everybody immediately started doing more digital and email communication as well. So we saw our numbers for a lot of our email communication start going down. So those are some of the challenges that we were facing in 2020. And then we'll start talking about some of the impact that my relationship with Influa had definitely on my marketing plan and techniques and stuff. So from an overall performance standpoint, like I said, we started engagement with Influa 2 in September of last year. And so we had a POC with Influa 2. And so what we've been doing is we've been trying different techniques with their technology. So different types of ads, display ads. We've been doing video ads lately. So different techniques, but we've been keeping it pretty consistent on a monthly basis, that we have typically about 4,000, between 4,000 and 4,500 contacts on a regular basis per month that we're targeting. And so our reach has been 30,299 targets that we've reached so far. Account reach is a little bit over 24,000 accounts. Impressions, we're sitting at a little bit over 500,000. So 548,000 clicks, 794, and visits 497. And I'll tell you what that impact had here in a second. So we basically approach it is we have accounts that we're trying to get into. So again, we work with law firms and corporate legal departments. Corporate legal departments has its own set of unique issues when we're trying to contact them and work with them. But this is just kind of an example of Bank of America. Our contacts or personas in corporate are typically going to be associate general counsels, head of legal, those types of personas. Very difficult to contact via email, phone, all those traditional techniques that we were doing. But you can kind of see here, this is just kind of an example of Bank of America. Decision makers reach, we had 40 clicks, so they're actually interacting with the ads that we're running, a little bit over 1,700 impressions, and 3 direct visits to the landing pages or the website assets that we had connected to the ads. So overall, I mean, really good account engagement. And then we have the next slide talks about a personal engagement that we have. And so this was an owner of a law firm or principal. And again, attorneys are extremely difficult to get a hold of. Their time is very limited. And so we had this really fun ad campaign that we were running. And this was problem 912. I think everybody saw Tiger King in 2020. So we were just kind of having a little bit of fun with the ads. But you can kind of see this ad. The owner principal here clicked on it 4 times. Went to our website. We had ads doing different things. So we also used Drift, which I know is participating in this conference as well. So we're using a mixture of Pardot forms and Drift as well, playbooks. And so we're using different techniques just to try and see what works better for our audience. And so you can see here, the visits went right to one of our landing pages. And then from the landing page, it went to our home page. And then from the home page, basically it went to a video asset as well. So like I said, we're using a couple different techniques. Is that sometimes if you click on an ad, we're sending them right to a drift playbook. Other techniques we're using where we're sending them to a Pardot form. They're known to us, like we know who they are and we have all the information. So when we're engaging with them, we provide the contact information to Influ2. So it's very specific. So my technique here isn't to gather information because I already know who they are. What I'm trying to get is engagement. I'm trying to get them to sign up for a demo, or I'm trying to get them to do something. So my CTAs are a little bit different utilizing Influ2 because we know who they are. So the engagement is going to be a little bit different. So definitely, and then through that engagement, there's an engagement score. And so we use that engagement score to filter through. The other thing that happens with Influ2, which fixed some of our issues, is I mentioned that we were having reporting issues. So we're building out our BI team, we're building our marketing operations team. And so we have direct links between Influ2 and our Salesforce. So once somebody clicks on an ad and starts interacting with it, that information goes into Salesforce and there's an activity that's reported, and then a salesperson's alerted. So immediately the RSE on our team knows that this person is clicking on these ads and they're interacting with the ads. So they're getting live updates. And then at that point, they can see that they're engaging with the ads, and then they can schedule a call and reach out to that particular person. So that real-time reporting, that real-time activity reporting is extremely helpful, because as soon as the RSEs saw that start popping up, they'd be like, what's this Influ2 activity? We had several sessions to teach them about it, but for them to kind of recognize that it's coming in Salesforce and saying, oh, I see this person's clicking on this ad. What was the ad? So it'll really allow those salespeople to have that visibility to when somebody is clicking, interacting with certain content, to be able to call them and do outreach. And then we're using the scores basically also because every month we're rotating contacts. So people with higher scores we're keeping, people with lower scores, then we're kind of rotating them out. So it's allowing us to be very targeted to the people who are engaging with us. So pretty exciting from that perspective. And then on results, again, we started in September, but what's pretty exciting about these results are, like I said, we're keeping an average about 4,000 contacts right now in Influ2, and we're about to start really going aggressive with this. So through the POC, basically, I wanted to keep it pretty level just to kind of see what was happening on all the impressions and the clicks and the visit and engagements. But you can see by these charts, keeping it pretty average 4,000, you can see that about October, it just started basically doing a hockey stick up. So our impressions are starting to go through the roof. And again, we rotate contacts out. We're really working on the type of content that we're using, and the engagement's starting to react to that type of content. So we're learning as we go with Influ2. And then you can see clicks, visits, and engagements basically is having a hockey stick up to the right as well. So internally, what I'm doing is I'm tracking opportunities and revenue. So right now, we're tracking about 2,000 opportunities in the system. Some of these opportunities originated from the ads. That means that this is the first engagement that they had with us. They came into the system, basically had the engagement, salesperson reached out, started an opportunity. Other ways we're doing this is I'm working with the sales team, and if we're in an active matter right now that we're trying to basically get the opportunity rolling, then I'll target that list. So I work with the sales team. We build these target lists. So Bank of America is a good example of that. Other corporations that we're trying to target are law firms. So we build that list, and it could be a list of 5 people. It could be a list of 20 people. It could be a list of 100 people. Then we have a specific ad to that particular account or that target list, and then we load it into Influ2, and then that's what they see. It's very targeted. So a lot of these opportunities are in work, but we're using Influ to reinforce our message. So there's certain videos that we're showing, like customer satisfaction type videos. We're doing some more product marketing type content. And then we just started actually rolling out thought leadership content. So we're engaged at an awareness stage with particular contact. Then thought leadership becomes very important, and it reinforces reinforces some of the value propositions we have. So we're using the marketing funnel, we're creating different types of content at different stages. So for us, this result is success. I'm going to continue using Influo2. Very excited about the opportunities and the revenue.
Okay. Thank you so much, Keith. It's a very interesting, exciting case study. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Appreciate your time.
All righty. Thank you, Dmitri and Keith. We will now begin the Q&A portion. So if there's anyone out there who has not yet submitted a Q&A, please go ahead and ask your question by clicking on the Q&A button in the upper right corner. Also, be sure to fill out the online survey, which is located at the top of the chat box. We appreciate your feedback as it helps us plan future events. Now, let me navigate over to my questions. All right, I like this one from Brooke because this is something that is near and dear to my heart. As a demand gen marketer, has this process you've described reduced the time to close?
Yeah, I mean, definitely considerably amount. Number one, because the way that we've been kind of using the technology to target and working with the sales team. So the sales team has as much influence in what we're doing in the process as whereas a lot of times when the salespeople are going out and just doing cold calling and cold marketing, there's a longer lead time. So what we're doing is we're working more with a warm list. And so it's definitely shrunk the time that we see basically deals closing. So on average, let's say on average where we were normally doing anywhere from 60 to 90-day closes for typical mid-range deals, now we've kind of shrunk that down to about 30 to 45 days. So it's definitely had an impact.
Nice. That's awesome. And this is something that I'm also curious about as a Salesforce nerd. You mentioned that you have your sales team alerted through Salesforce right as people were interacting with an ad. So do they just go and contact those people right away, or do they have a waiting period so it's not like super creepy, like these people feel like they're being
That's kind of funny. Dmitri might want to answer that one, but we do tell them maybe not as soon as you get the alert to contact them right away, but we have a pretty active, like I said, SDR program. So they're always calling and they're always doing outreach. And so they might be in a current cycle at that particular minute, but they'll see the alert and then they check the alerts when they come in the morning. But yeah, it is kind of like I said, it was used on me. And I saw the ads and I was getting phone calls. So Dmitri's group was doing the same thing to me. And I was like, well, I know I as a marketer, I know what's happening and stuff like that. But yeah, totally. We told the sales team is like, well, maybe right when you see it, you don't want to call them like within the first minute, but they've kind of developed their own. Yeah.
Yeah. I just want to add that in general, we recommend to follow up as soon as possible. I think the way you handle this creepiness factor is not about timing. It's more about what you write to people. So definitely we don't recommend SDRs to tell you, hey, you clicked my ad, let's talk.
Right.
Because that's the best way to make sure they will never talk to you. But then because you know the context, you say, hey, you were interested in this topic or in this article or in something, and then maybe let's continue our conversation. So if you do it gently, people don't feel they're chased. It's more about that, like some smart HDR provides very relevant uses relevant context for the conversation, which is great.
Yep. I've got my own BDR who's really good at that. He's really good at going right up to the line of being creepy and then not going over. He can, like you said, provide the relevant context for why I'm getting in touch with you, but it's not like I was watching what you were doing. Yeah. Marie is asking, I'm wondering if you can talk a little bit about retargeting and how that is, or if it is involved in this strategy at all.
No. So I think overall retargeting is, like, I wouldn't say dying, but I think it is in decline because of multiple reasons. Yeah. As everybody knows, and I think that overuse of retargeting caused the current situation when we see cookie deprecation and other new restrictions across different platforms. And actually, we appreciate this. I think this is a very right thing to do because it creates a better, safer, and better experience for customers and users. So no, that's not connected to retargeting at all. And so in most cases, our clients go after new opportunities. If you speak about top of the funnel, you want to build this relationship from scratch. And sometimes you might use some intent data to go to target in market, accounts. Sometimes you just say, okay, these are my dream accounts. I want to go after these accounts, and they could never, heard about you before, and still you can make this connection and build this relationship. So yeah, it's a different technique.
Makes sense. Beth is asking, and this is also something interesting to me, were there any surprises of where your ads were successful based on difficulty of reaching the professional audience? For example, was Instagram successful, or was some other place where you didn't assume these people were hanging out? Did that end up working out better for you?
Yeah. So actually, we built our product to optimize across all platforms, and currently we employ Facebook, Google, Instagram, LinkedIn, Yahoo. And then speaking about Google, obviously we speak about thousands of online media assets. And then honestly, we expected to see a lot of kind of, like our first tests when we just launched our product were focused to understand if we can deliver our messages to this kind of super busy decision makers who are, spend all that time on very important meetings, and they have very conscious, use of that time. And then we realized very quickly that these are also, like we speak about VPs and top managers, they're also humans. Mm-hmm. So they really spend a lot of time on Instagram and Facebook. And then if you check their profiles, you might see these people, like they might have like old wedding photo like 20 years ago, but they still consume a lot of content on very traditional, like casual social media.
Yep.
Obviously, LinkedIn adds value, and obviously online media add value. But we just try to find the best profile that fits into specific decision makers.
And do you find that out by just testing a whole bunch of different places yourself?
Yeah.
Do you do A/B tests, or do you pick the places where it goes, or is there an established network where these things show up?
Yeah. We just buy everything. I think when you consider the scale of opportunity for our clients, I mean, like our clients go after key decision makers in large companies. So you don't want to optimize anything. You want, if there's any chance, at any cost, to be able to connect to a VP of large company, you will do this, right? So it's less about optimization. It's more about like just finding all possible channels.
Yeah. So you touched on this a little bit, obviously, because this entire concept is based on this person-based marketing strategy, and there are other tactics. There's obviously the account-based marketing strategy and these other things. I wonder if you could just give us a brief, and again, you did touch on this, but just sort of wrap it up for us a little bit in a bow. So what are the benefits of a person-based marketing strategy versus some of these other ways that people are targeting folks?
Yeah. So I think the easiest way to explain person-based marketing is that's account-based marketing that truly works. So we don't come saying, hey guys, ABM is not working anymore. We say, hey, if you want to make your ABM truly efficient, you should go after a specific decision maker, specific buying teams, not somebody inside the accounts. You want to know who you're talking to, name by name, right? So this is very crucial for marketing and sales alignment, because I mean, like having some great accounts engaged is amazing, and that was the idea behind account-based marketing. But then when it comes to engaged account, you pass this engaged account to your sales team, and then the question is like, okay, but who to talk to? Mm-hmm. Who are these engaged people? And then that's that. And if you can tell this exactly, okay, this is John Smith from this company who recently engaged with our ads, that's crucial, because it provides a lot of context to continue sales conversation. Yeah, so I think just to sum up, I think that's kind of person-based marketing is account-based marketing that is truly precise and provides a lot of sales insights that help marketers to provide true value to sales teams.
Got it. And a minute ago, you mentioned intent data, which is my favorite nerd area right now. I love it. Where would you suggest sort of slotting that into this process? Is that something where if you're doing account-based marketing and maybe even person-based marketing, you use that at the outset to sort of determine the companies that you want to target to begin with? Or do you come up with your company list first and then prioritize based on which companies seem to be most in market for your current solution? Sort of where in the process do you use the intent data?
Yeah, so I think it really depends on customer situations. So we see very different playbooks for different companies. So some clients, they just have, very narrow markets where, like this, because their audiences are very hard to reach. And in this case, I mean, you just go and after all, great accounts that you want to build a relationship with, you don't want to pick. I mean, like this is crucial for you. We have a funny phrase like there's only 500 Fortune 500 companies, so they're not all of them. So you want to go after all of them if it's your market. So yeah, in some cases you just go after dream accounts, and then you want to build this relationship at any cost. In some other situations, we see clients that they have much bigger markets, so they need to be picky. They need to choose the accounts that they are in market right now. And then in this case, they use, say, Bombora data or tech target data. Like lots of currently, you see a lot of intent data coming from very different providers. And then also we should not ignore one more important element is the fact that people don't engage with advertising most of the time. So even it doesn't matter how great you are in terms of building your creatives. You can get like 1% CTR, 3% CTR. That's probably so, which means that 97% of the time people don't click on ads. And then if somebody clicks, that's also an intent signal. Obviously, it's an engagement, but also every engagement is an intent signal, because that's somebody says like, "Hey, your banner was actually resonating with what I need. I am interested."
Yep.
And then that's very important signal you want to miss. So we really believe that engagement data that we get is also very important intent information that you want to use.
Absolutely. All right. And we are out of time. Thank you again to our gold sponsor, Influ2. We will see everyone shortly in about 5 minutes when the next sessions are set to begin. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Everybody. Bye.